For a best friend since way back when. Steel town roots in a story to spin. Pittsburgh streets in our bones. The four best parts, the four best hearts. This month we live it loud. This month we break the clouds.
Hello, I'm Nate Kravitz from the Four Best Podcast, coming to you today with our weekly podcast where four best friends come together and talk to you about the best thing that happened to them in the last month. I'm joined today by Isaac Scott.
Hello, everybody.
Mac Kravitz.
Hey, everyone.
And sharing his best from June 2026 this week is Serge Blackmore.
Yeah, hey, everybody. Well, I get to kick this off. This is exciting. So I'm going to really embrace you all with an interesting maritime story here. One of the things that our family's been doing for the last few years is going to a place called Chincoteague. Have you guys heard of it before? Anybody been?
Never been there. How would you even spell that, Serge?
Yeah, so Chincoteague is spelled Chincoteague. Mac, is that correct?
Yes, I'm looking at the spelling right now.
Yes, I got it. See? Didn't
It
fail
sounds
that
like
one.
a made-up place. Tell me more.
So 5 years ago, I too did not know Chincoteague existed. Interestingly enough, Chincoteague is about an hour and a half from Ocean City, Maryland. And if you go to New Jersey, Wildwood, like all those places are fairly close to this area in Virginia, but it's such a small little town that most folks don't really think much of it. It is a wild pony reservation, has been there for over 100 years at this point, and has like this really interesting history. Now, just to give people some context, I used to go to most traditional beaches. I'm talking boardwalks, there's arcade games, pretty much stuff to do all the time. Now, this place is like a small town that's just cut out of like a postcard or something like that. Like that's the best way I would describe it. And our neighbors, they had talked about, actually specifically Annie, she had mentioned that her and her family used to go there over the summers and they would really enjoy it. And I said, hey, you know, what the heck, let's take the trip with them. And we've been doing that for about 5 years now and have really enjoyed kind of like that slow paced, no real Wi-Fi. There's not much to do unless you're in town. So when you go to the beach, you're just at the beach. You're building castles. You're getting into the ocean. It's a very, very peaceful place to be. But it's got some really interesting, rich history that before I kind of share what my trip was, I thought, hey, why don't I just tell you guys some way to bring you into a little bit of the town itself? So interestingly enough, something I discovered about Chincoteague was that there's two kind of stories. Okay. There's a very popularized book and movie that was made called The Misty, I think it was called Misty of Chincoteague, which is about, of course, the horse, the pony. Okay. And it's got this kind of like romanticized past that like Spanish settlers had essentially thrashed and the huge galleon ships had brought over all of these horses. And the whole story is about these two kids who find these horses and they basically help to raise them. And there's this whole story going on. And then there's like a very basic story of how these wild horses ended up showing here, which was through the fact that people just wanted to avoid taxes. Yep. A classic tax evasion story. So everybody gets to choose. Everybody gets to choose. How did the ponies end up in Chincoteague? And so, interestingly enough, if you want to commit tax evasion in the 1600s, what you would do is the government is trying to get you to pay for your horses. They want you to put up very fancy fences, which are very expensive. Farmers are like, whoa, we got to figure out a way to kind of hide these places. And so they essentially take the horses from Virginia, cross this line, and put them in Assateague Bay, which is where the beach is, right? So Chincoteague is the town, and then on Assateague Bay, the horses, they would just drop them off and essentially hide them. And over time, my understanding is that that's how the horses ended up being there, was that eventually they would just lose some of the horses, and they developed their own kind of like area to grow and breed in. And over time, that just became a way that they spread out. And so the government actually now owns Assateague Bay. It's a federally protected land spot, but that's how the horses ended up there. I thought that was fascinating. And then one other thing that I thought was really kind of cool, the town is pretty small, doesn't have a ton of money. So I think it was about, I don't know, it was about 80 years ago or something like that, they had like a string of fires. And the town simply cannot afford any of the updated firefighting equipment they would need in order to protect themselves. So
Because
what they
no one
did
pays
was
taxes, Serge.
no one pays taxes. That's right. The whole thing is a money laundering scheme. Okay, the whole all the ice cream money goes to this money laundering. Which, by the way, there's really good ice cream on the island. So anyway, so the firefighters ended up taking over all of the pony shows and stuff like that in Chincoteague. And they ended up selling horses as a way to raise money for their firefighting equipment to help protect the island from setting on fire all the time. So anyway, that's where I go on vacation every year, guys.
A
Which
place
also
where the
has,
government steals your horse and can catch a flame at a moment's notice. Sounds
but
great.
it is great, Mac. But you guys get to mini golf there. You can have ice cream. They've got those cars that people like to drive. The fast
The
ones that
ones
kids
with pedals and stuff?
some of those. Yeah, it's a really good time. It's a beach, and so we've been doing it for 5 years now. I just thought I'd share a little bit of history about it, but it's been a really really cool place to vacation because of its slow paced, and of course the draw in of the ponies that you get to see as you're driving to the beach. You have to drive really really slowly, or they'll arrest you and get some money out of you that way too. But overall, it is. It is a beautiful, beautiful location. So if you have a chance, I would Google it. The horses will come up first. And for us, like the kids just having the ability to like see a very slow paced life as opposed to any of the cities that we live in, I think is just really important and nice. And so we all get together, we barbecue, we cook a lot. This was the first year I ever went crabbing. Crabbing was really, really cool. Yeah. So my neighbor, his dad used to catch crabs. And I was surprised. I was thinking there's going to be like a cage and all this equipment and all this stuff. He literally had a stick, a rope on that stick, and a lead stone, which is the dropper, basically. You guys probably know these terms better than I do. I don't fish a lot. And essentially, Isaac's shaking his head. So maybe he's done this before. But you kind of like reel them in slowly. And I caught 2 crabs. And then we ate those crabs. We took them back. We actually cooked them up in crab cakes. It was delicious.
They're really good fresh. I've never heard of it that way. I've always used a cage. That's neat.
Yeah. So those are just some things, but we had a really good time biking and catching crabs and doing all the beach stuff.
It's super awesome, Serge. And I want to commend you for being so bold for calling out the U.S. government on a podcast like this. And so for all of our listeners, this may be the last time we ever see Serge for exposing the Ponzi scheme that's existing out there. So, but Serge, I love that. I love that you're kind of sharing that. I know that was a tradition that we all kind of did years ago, and it's just so awesome to be able to go out and just spend time together just as friends and truly relax, right? And just being able to put your feet in the sand and play in the ocean and really just have just a great time, and what great memories for your kids as well. And so when you were thinking about like the highlight, would you say the crabbing was the highlight of the week, or was there something else that really jumped out at you that was like, man, this was just really memorable from what you're taking away from this time?
Well, first, I thought this was the best for whistleblower podcast, so I'm really sorry that I got on today. Clearly, I messed up. No, but joking aside, crabbing was a brand new experience for me. I did not get to do that in the last few years. Sometimes the kids had different interests, so we separated and went ahead and did different things. But this was really neat. Felix and I went out there, and he didn't complain as he usually does, because there's a lot of bugs biting you on the island, and bug spray can only protect you so much until everyone starts complaining about it. But that was a highlight, being able to see that whole process, Isaac, of going out there, catching enough, being able to take them home, pick them apart, cook them, and be able to enjoy the crab cakes. But yeah, it's funny enough. We used to go out on the beach together with your family, and we kind of continued that tradition with our neighbors here. So it's definitely been a really nice one.
Hey, Sergey, I know you were talking about Chincoteague. One of the things I thought some of the listeners might be interested in was not this year, but a couple years back, you went to like a town that was nearby from there, and that was featured on The Daily Show.
Yeah.
Do you want to say anything about that place?
Okay. All right. Then another controversial topic, Max, bring it up here. So again, our neighbor, when she used to go with her family, went to this place that's probably about like a 25-minute drive from Chincoteague. It's called Tangier Island. Okay. Anybody know about Tangier Island? Nate, Isaac?
No.
All right. So we decided to take a trip and see what was going on Tangier Island. So you take this little boat. It's about a half an hour off the coast. And when we get there, everything is on stilts. That is how bad the situation has gotten over there. Essentially, the island is projected to sink probably in the next like 25 to 30 years, according to the calculations. There's been a lot of people who obviously know a lot more of the science who've been going out there and trying to help people to try to leave the area. And as we all know, there are people that are just very committed to the place that they grew up and are familiar with. And so we actually did a tour of the entire island, and they kept talking about, oh, the school over there, we just increased the stilts a little bit more each year. And there's about 40 kids K through 12 that are here learning. And, over here's a church. We're going to put some more stilts on it. So it was a little bit kind of humorous because, clearly these people are in realization of what's happening, but they are so dedicated to the place that they live. They don't really want to give it up and go inland. There's of course always a little bit of a back and forth between the two, but it was featured on the Daily Show as kind of a comedy piece because some people don't believe that it's happening or they don't want to admit to it. And it's very clear based on what they have to do in order to keep the town alive. Everything's on stilts.
It's like the next Venice.
A little bit, yeah.
Neat.
I'll send you guys a link at some point afterward and you can check it out. It's kind of neat to look at.
And you're sure no amount of tax evasion can save that island, huh?
There's not enough money we can put in the stilts to keep it up.
Huh, okay.
But it's a cool place, and I enjoyed meeting people there. And of course, people are friendly anywhere you go if you look for that. And at one point, we had a cat that just almost wanted to get off the island with us. It was following Tesla around for quite a bit, and she's a big cat lover, and almost convinced me to take it back inland. But I felt like that might be wrong.
Hey, so Serge, sorry, kind of shifting gears with the ponies. So, are you able to approach them at all, or do you have to kind of stay away from them? Do you just kind of look at them from a distance?
Yeah, great question. No, great question. Yes. There may be opportunities that people have to go in and get closer to them. But from what I've experienced, as you're driving to the beach, there's a long roadway and people will stop on the left and right side of the beach. I can send you guys some photos. You just look out into the marsh and typically you'll see a group of these horses, these ponies hanging out and enjoying some food. Now, once a year, the firefighter department that I was telling you about, they'll do pony penning, which they'll actually get all of these horses and they're basically pushing them along this route. And about, I don't know if it's like about 50 or 60,000 people show up every year for this event. And they've been doing it for a long time. And at the end, they'll have an auction. They'll still do this to raise money. So they'll take one of the horses or multiple of the horses and they'll actually put them up for auction for people to bid on. And that money goes back to, I believe, the firefighting department. There's no experiences to come up and pet them. They're pretty wild or feral.
Yeah.
Any other particular traditions that you guys do when you go there every year?
Oh, man. I know we always talk about having ice cream, but we really do have it over there with our families. Yeah, ice cream. Ice cream's really good. There's a place called Whippy's. Oh, is it Whippy's? No, my wife's helping me to remember some. It's called the Island Creamery, and it has superb ice. I swear. No. There's a place called Whippy's on the island. I just forgot the name of. It's a donut place. Mr. Whip.
Now we understand why we never get ice cream together because we talk
But we
about
always
it and
get
get
donuts.
donuts.
So anyway, not Mr. Whippy's. Island Creamery has some excellent choices. And so we have a tradition that we'll usually, enjoy ice cream most nights and go out there. Lots of selection. And, it's saying it's not a tradition. We go out for ice cream.
Wow.
What?
Okay.
We go out.
Going
We
south.
go out once. She said we go out once.
You've only ever gone once.
I go out by myself sometimes to get ice cream.
To the listener, Serge's wife is in the background correcting him, trying to help him stay true to himself and to the story, but he likes to embellish, I suppose.
Well, what's your favorite tradition? Yeah, what's your favorite tradition in Chincoteague that we have? So 2 things. Bali Rum Traders, excellent drink of choice down at Chincoteague, and these bike rides that we take as a family. We all rent a bike and we basically go on a 10-mile course. So
That's awesome.
that is also some really fun that we have there.
I just think
Very
the listener should also be aware that your ice cream preference is melted and warm. So does the creamery melt it for you, or do you have to be a little disappointed by it?
No, I just sit there with my ice cream cone until it starts going all over my hand, and then I lick it.
I guess it is the summer, so it heats up pretty quickly.
Yeah, it's a bummer. Most ice cream places don't let you melt your ice cream. I think it's holding us back as a society.
Yeah.
They don't even have microwaves most of the
Yeah.
time.
Yeah, and for the listeners out there, that's a childhood memory for Serge. For whatever reason, growing up, he could never eat frozen ice cream. He always had to microwave it.
You know,
For whatever
Isaac,
reason.
I still get a lot of
For whatever
flack
reason.
for that. I still
Yeah.
get a lot of flack for melting my ice cream. And you know what? I'm going to do it till the day I die. I'm just going to enjoy my ice cream.
Yeah.
That's the way it's going to be.
I let mine sit for a while also, Serge. I like it a little melty, so you're human.
Thank you.
So.
Thank you. It's a milkshake. It's a milkshake. All right, guys.
Well, thanks, Serge. That was really great. And thanks to you, everyone, for listening. We're grateful you joined us today and hope we got to be a part of something good in your week. We want to remind you that the 4 Best podcast is released on an almost weekly basis on the 4th days of the week, which on our calendars is Wednesdays. You'll find one of our bests from the month before. If you want to get a hold of us for any reason, we can be reached at 4best@gmail.com. Thanks, everyone. Bye.
Thank you, everybody.
Bye.
See ya.
See ya.
For best friends since way back when.